Welcome to Hockey Whiz Talks podcast. Today I'll be talking about major injuries and navigating through injuries in fantasy hockey. In this podcast, I talk about some of the major injuries and how they have affected fantasy hockey pools, as well as how you can navigate through them. Major injuries in fantasy hockey. Braden Point will miss 4 to 6 weeks with an upper body injury. His injury will put more pressure on Steven Stamkos, Anthony Cirelli, and Alex Killorn to carry the offense. Jack Eichel has surgery to repair a herniated disc on November 8th and is expected to return at some point in March. If he is even 80% of the player he was in Buffalo, he will be highly productive in Vegas. Nikita Kutrov has been out of the lineup since October 26th with a lower body injury. He underwent a procedure on October 27th and will be out for 8 to 10 weeks. Alec Martinez has been out of the lineup due to concussion symptoms since November 11th. Everything seems to be pointing in the right direction, but the team wants to be more cautious with his timetable. Ryan Ellis underwent treatment for a lower body injury that will require him to lay low for a week. He has been out since November 13th and was projected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Carrie Price has yet to play in an NHL game this season due to a combination of mental health issues and an off-season knee injury. Montreal desperately needs Carrie Price back because it's clear that they are a terrible team without him. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my scouting blog at hockeywiz777scouting.com. Listen to my scouting blog podcast on anchor.fm/hockeywiz777scouting. Injury replacements. Mark Scheifele is off to one of the worst starts to his NHL career, so his trade value has never been lower. If you have a void at the center position, consider trading for Scheifele. Jared McCann is one of the better players on the Seattle Kraken and has been one of the hottest goal scorers in the last 2 weeks. He has 5 goals and 3 power play points in the last 2 weeks and would be a great replacement for an injured player. Garnett Hathaway is third in the league in hits and also has 5 goals this year due to the increase in ice time due to the various injuries on the Capitals. Hathaway is a must-own in hit leagues if he is available. Chris Russell. Due to the injuries to Darnell Nurse and Duncan Keith, Chris Russell is thrust into a prominent role on the blue line for the Oilers right now. Russell is a reliable source for blocks and should have a good plus-minus as well. Nick Jensen is having a great start to the season with 9 points, 44 hits, 33 blocks, and is a plus 21. He is an under-the-radar player because he isn't a big name, but he has excellent value because he fills up multiple categories. James Reimer. Not many people are buying into San Jose, but they have quietly had a really good start to the season. A big reason for this is due to James Reimer, who has an 8-4 record with a 2.05 GAA, a .934 save percentage, and 1 shutout. He would be a solid option in net if you have drafted Carrie Price or a goalie that is currently struggling. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at hockeywiz777. A lot of players are getting COVID, but some fantasy leagues only have IR slots, so that means you will be forced to play a lot of inactive players in your lineup due to the lack of IR plus spots. For leagues that do have IR plus slots, that is a lot better, but you never know when another player will go down with COVID, which was never a factor in previous seasons. How you can navigate injuries. Trade for players with slow starts to the season. Look for players on the waiver wire that can fill up specific categories like shots on goal, face-off wins, hits, blocks, and plus-minus. Look on the waiver wire for players that are dropped because of their slow start. Add great players on bad teams, and utilize your IR and IR plus spots wisely. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about goalies to trade for or add in fantasy hockey.